Hi, I'm Stacy Robertson, founder of Tea Market, here with today's Thursday tutorial. So today I'm going to talk to you about oolong tea. Oolong teas are kind of a rare category of tea, and they only represent like a small fraction of the overall tea market. And so I want to share some information in case you're new to teas, to oolong teas. This will be a little primer for you. So oolong teas are semi-oxidized teas. Well, what does that mean? So white teas and green teas are not oxidized at all. That's why they're very green. And black teas are fully oxidized, and that's why they look dark brown or black. And so oolong teas are this wonderful kind of complex category of semi-oxidized teas. And when I give the class in Tea Basics and I talk about oolong teas, I always kind of jokingly liken it to a medium steak. So if you like your steak medium, you know it can tend closer to rare or closer to well done. And oolong teas can tend closer to green teas or closer to black teas, depending upon the level of oxidation. So I'm going to go ahead and get started making one of these for you today because I want to show you how beautifully they steep in a glass pot. The one that I'm going to start with is called baozhang. And these particular teas, a few of these teas, are from Taiwan. And Taiwan is really the home of oolong teas. They do so much research and developing new cultivars and things, and they have wonderful festivals and competitions all about oolong teas in Taiwan. And so this is a beautiful baozhang from Taiwan, and I'm going to go ahead and get it started. And I always love to make oolong teas in a glass pot because you want to see them and watch them unfurl and do their dance inside the pot as they steep. So this is one of my favorite pots. It's called a sitka, and it makes tea the finest way that there is to make tea, which is actually just letting it float freely in the pot. So I'm going to use about 175 degree water for this particular lovely baozhang oolong. And this really is a perfect pot for making teas like this because this is a tea that you're going to want to re-infuse several times, which is a fancy way of saying pour more water over the tea leaves and steep them again. So you can see that the leaves are going to start to do their thing and unfurl. And we steep this the first time for about 3 minutes. Now, the name baozhang literally translates to wrapped in paper. And I don't know if you've ever seen one of these, but many of the teas that we get, they come wrapped in these beautiful paper bags that are handmade from rectangles of paper and then tied up with ribbons. So this is an example of one of those awesome paper bags that the teas come in. And I always think they're so beautiful, and it feels like Christmas morning every time I get to unwrap one, no matter what time of year it is. So baozhang is a beautiful, lightly oxidized oolong. So baozhang is about 8 to 10% oxidized, and then we move into another pretty green oolong, lightly oxidized, and this is jade oolong. And jade oolong is one of my absolute favorites. It's rolled into a nugget, so what they're actually plucking is that center unopened bud and then the next 2 to 3 leaves. And believe it or not, when these beautiful little nuggets unfurl, you can actually see that unopened bud and those 3 leaves. They really become quite beautiful when they get all opened up. So one of my favorite examples of oxidation is raisins and grapes. So Sunmaid says right on the package that their raisins are nothing more than grapes and sunshine. And so you know that when you oxidize something, think, like I said, raisins, or think sun-dried tomatoes, things like that, they get a smoother, richer, more intense flavor. And the same thing happens with oxidation of teas. And so this is the baozhang is steeping along and the leaves are unfurling. And then one of the things in talking about Taiwan, I wanted to show you this big, beautiful book. So this is a wonderful book. It's like so heavy, but this is from Jane Pettigrew, and it's called The World of Tea. And I marked Taiwan because I was looking at things in here before I wanted to jump on and create this video. And she actually goes through all of the regions in the world where tea is grown and shows you exactly which teas are grown in which areas, country by country, place by place. And so as we kind of are scooting into holiday time, I wanted to show you this because if you have a tea lover who has everything and you have no idea what to get them and you wouldn't dream of buying them tea because they're very picky and buy their own, this beautiful book I think would be very, very welcome. It's just gorgeous, and we have a lot of these at Tea Market, and come by and have a look at these sometimes and just see how beautiful they are. I'm so appreciative of Jane's work on this. All right, so I wanted to show you that book, and then this tea is ready. And when you pour it all off, see how it has this lovely jade color, and you can tell by the essential oils that it's really fresh and nice. I guess I took it out of there a little early. Okay. And then moving on, we have Jade Oolong, and then we also have a very special tea that is loved by many at Tea Market, and it's called Milk Taste Oolong. And Milk Taste Oolong, the one that we have, is a natural Milk Taste Oolong, which means during a particular point in the process of the tea leaves before harvest, temperatures and different conditions will actually cause the plant to exude this wonderful enzyme that creates a milky, creamy mouthfeel and a buttery aroma and taste. And so there are a lot of fakes out there, so you want to be very, very careful. This one is all natural, and you can tell because that milky, buttery goodness is more of a hint and allowing the really fragrant, floral and orchid and fruity tones to come true from the natural tea. So these are not blended or flavored teas. These are what I refer to as true leaf teas, meaning they are nothing more than the Camellia sinensis tea plant itself. So Milk Taste Oolong, it's kind of expensive, but it makes a great way to treat yourself. It's a wonderful kind of celebratory and special true leaf tea. And then next we have a dark tea. Now this one is actually from China, and this is there are all kinds of legends and stories about tea, and none more so than about oolong teas. And sometimes this tea is referred to as black dragon, and I don't know if you can see that, but that particular tea leaf, if you pull them out and hold them up, you can actually imagine that they look like little tiny dragons. And so this is more heavily oxidized. This tea is going to be about 70% oxidized, and they are lovely to make in a glass pot as well. Again, this is called our Sitka pot. It's fantastic because not only can you make it to perfectly, use it to perfectly make your teas, but when not making tea, what a great little pitcher it is. You can use it for all kinds of things. I always jokingly tell people that, occasionally we'll stir up a pitcher of martinis in one of these when we're not making tea. So I'm going to use the same water temperature over and pour it over the leaves. And this is going to make a darker, deeper oolong, not as jade and golden in color as the Baoxiang. This is going to make a little deeper colored tea. Now, as I said, these are true leaf oolongs. Do we have blended oolongs? You bet we do, because this wonderful category of tea takes on other flavors beautifully as well. One that we love is Oolong Goddess. So there are strawberries in here and pomegranate, and it is a lovely tea. And this is one of the more lightly oxidized, greener oolongs. And then some other blended oolongs that we have at Tea Market is lemon basil oolong. This makes delicious, refreshing iced tea from all that lemony goodness. And then it's kind of not a black tea, a little lighter than that. So a little lighter body and a nice, beautiful iced tea. And then Shalimar. This is a Tea Market house blend. Whoops. And it has all kinds of dried oranges and mango and all kinds of strawberry, kind of tropically fruity flavors in this. And that makes a beautiful tea as well. So I wanted to introduce you to some wonderful oolong teas and maybe encourage you to try one. Come on into Tea Market and we'll help you find one that's perfect for you. And then again, the beauty of this pot, the strainer portion is right in the lid so that the tea absolutely strains through the lid as we pour. And then to reinfuse, all you do is pour more water right over the same tea. So you can see a little bit of the difference in color in these. And I just hope that this encourages you to try some yummy oolong tea. Until next time.